All right, all right, all right. It's that time again. We are back live in the counselor's corner. Open court discussion. When is too much, too much? I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the controversial counselor. Joining me is my co-host, Herb Lewis, the big bad wolf.
Oh,
Hopefully, he'll be joining us. Willie A. Price speaks the truth. The scintillating Christine Brooks. Hopefully, she'll be joining in the zealous Lakia Perry. This past Monday, we had another hot and steamy broadcast. What determines bad or good sex? It was it was hot. It was steamy. It was a lot said. But tonight, we will lead off with the topic: when is too much too much? How many chances do you give people in relationships? And what are your deal breakers? So just think on that. Just think on that. Now let's look at the other three essential talking points. What are the hazards of women filing false police reports when they are angry at their mates for leaving, seeing someone else, and behind on child support? Don't say you don't do it because it happens all the time. All the time. Sometimes women act out of emotions, and during that time, they want to jam a guy up. And sometimes it usually comes back and kicks that person in the ass for doing that, but it happens. And number two, can you have a relationship with no gender roles? Could you picture that? Relationships where it's just open. Um, you know, us as guys may do the cooking, may do the cleaning. You may chip in and do yard work, take out the garbage. Sometimes people just do what they got to do to, make the relationship work. Number three, infidelity in marriage. Infidelity in marriage for women is celebrated, and for men it isn't. Why is this? Or do you disagree? We have a loaded plate tonight, so join us to see what you want to nibble off of. Please like and share our video and subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counsel. Also, I know that we're going head to head tonight, really like it's competition, but the Buffalo Bills are playing, but that's okay. You can do both. You can multitask, watch the Bills game, chime in, because I'm sure it's going to be some stuff that's said that you're like, hold up, wait a minute. Oh, Josh Allen. Wait a minute. I got to go back to that comment. And I'm going to bring in my other two panelists right now. Lynette, how you doing? Thanks for joining us tonight. Willie A. Price speaks the truth.
What's up? What's up?
what's
Can you
going
hear me?
on?
I hear you.
Okay. I may be switching. I'm on my cell phone right now. My laptop wouldn't let me get on, so I'm trying to get on there now through my laptop. So I'll switch
All
up
right.
when it comes.
Then we got the scintillating Christine Brooks. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How's
the
everybody?
sensual Christine Brooks.
I'm good. I'm good. What's good with everybody? Anything new before we dive into this? Because it's a lot on the plate.
A lot on the plate, and I got a story to tell.
Willie's moment. Stay tuned for Willie's moment.
Right.
As per Doug Ruffin gave that segment to
Right.
him.
Right.
My
Shout out to
man.
Doug. Start with you, Herb. Anything good with you?
No, man. The program is doing well. Look like we're about to file our LLC. As you can see, I'm representing the EBF. We had an interview with the local paper tonight, so hopefully that generates us some publicity. And things are looking up. So I got no complaints, man. Even though Dallas was in a dogfight last night with New England, I don't know what to do with Dallas sometimes, man. They just make me just start chewing on my fingernails. And I don't even do that.
What is
The
EBF?
Elite Basketball Family. It is a mentoring program for kids ages 6 to 18.
Nice.
Our primary 3 areas of focus will be athletics, academics, and the arts.
Nice.
Cool. I got to hook up with you, Herb.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Christine, anything good with you?
Everything's good with me. Everything's good. Life is good. Add a couple $1 million and it'd be perfect.
Oh, listen,
No, that's
a couple million.
A few million. I don't want to put an exact.
It take all that?
It's coming. It's coming. You got that Shiba coin. It's coming.
I cannot figure out how to get that. I've been trying to get that for the last 2 weeks.
They trade on Coinbase now.
Yeah, but I can't figure out how to do it on Coinbase. I'm not that tech savvy.
I think it's something to do with New York State regulations. So.
Yeah, New York State. There's some coins that you can't purchase.
Coinbase, and then you got to switch it into some wallet or something.
Yeah,
and I lost it after that. I was like, okay. So I got it in Coinbase, but I can't switch it to the wallet. I can't figure out how to switch it to the wallet. And
when I'm on that island, Willie, I'll pull out my wallet and say, it works.
I know that. I see so many people jumping on that Shiba. I'm like, what the heck?
We all gonna be on the same island together.
like, hey, ain't that Christine over there? Oh shit! Like, all right. For me, it's the same. For me, it's the same thing, man. That schoolhouse it's out of control, man. That's all I can say. It's
wow.
It's just different. Like, these kids really forgot how to act in schools since being off for a year and a half. Not all. Some kids.
They didn't forget.
Yeah, or maybe they're taking advantage of it, or whatever the case is.
Yeah, they didn't forget. You ain't forget. They ain't forget. They know how they're supposed to act. They just don't care.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning, I heard kid transition and a girl walking down the hall. You know, we cuss on here a little bit. Some girl walking down the hall, she mad as hell, and she said to somebody, eat a dick. I'm like,
oh.
And I'm like, what the? Like, 7th grader, like,
7th grader.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
I'm telling you, man. Middle school is so much
here at home. So
yeah,
for them to use it so fluently, they're used to hearing
it freely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just say stuff, and you looking at them like, what the? I mean, I'd be embarrassed for them. I'd be like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, I can't. In some battles, you just don't fight. A lot of people like to fight them battles. I might say something like, oh, like, damn, what's your language or something? And they're like, oh, my bad, Mr. Glover, my bad. But I'm not about to get into no power struggle over that, because they're going to cuss regardless.
Yeah, it's not worth
it.
Yeah. So, like I said,
the funny thing about that is go ahead, Dave.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, the funny thing about that is, I'm always mindful of telling the kids, anytime I hear them using derogatory terms to describe black people, I'm like, language. They say, yeah, I know, it's just a habit. And I'm like, thinking, that habit's got to be broken. And we talked about that before on this show, David. And it's just like, when do we, as an ethnicity, start to say enough is enough? We already see with Dave Chappelle and the people that are after him, and what he said is true in regards. He said you can say derogatory things about African Americans, but the moment you say something about other protected groups, quote unquote protected, there's a problem. And I'm just thinking, this has got to stop. It really has to stop.
Yeah, it does. And we're gonna move on, like I said, because we could talk about the kids and the school system and everything all night long. One thing I want to get into, the lead-off point is, when is too much too much? Like, when do you hit that breaking point in those deal breakers when you say, I can't do this no more in a relationship, it's over, it's done, stick a fork in it. They gotta go. I gotta move forward.
Huh.
Anybody want to tackle that?
Ooh, I have a low tolerance for BS. There's just some things that
well, we know your non-negotiables is real strenuous. We know that.
I mean, there's some things that I won't trip about, and there's just some things I just draw the line. Ah, um, oof. It's like the old adage, the little things, they mean a lot. There's always the small things. There's never really the big things. So, my 5 things are my time, my money, my food, my emotions, and my feelings. You can't play with those. Those are non-negotiables. You end up getting yourself sent packing early for that. And above all is respect. I mean, and people tend to not really grasp what respect means. To some people, it may mean, if they ask you to do something, that you do it. And if you don't, you're not respectful of them. That doesn't bother me, because if I ask you to do something, generally it's because it needs to be done. So if you don't do it, I'll just chalk it up. I just, next time I know not to ask you, and I'll just go ahead and I'll get it done myself, and just not have to worry about it anymore. But sometimes it gets to a point where redundancy takes over, and then once the redundancy kicks in, it's just like, okay, wait a minute. I have to consistently ask you to do this when you know how I like things. And that's not to say that I want somebody to acquiesce to what I want. There's just certain things I believe that, especially once you start to cohabitate, that 2 individuals should come to an agreement. So if the bathroom is left a certain way and it's conducive for both of us, then why would an individual choose to leave it another way just because? Same thing with the kitchen. We might cook, we might eat, we wash all the dishes. You just come back in there and say, you know what? I don't care. I'm just gonna leave it like this because that's what I want. And it's those type of things that often derail relationships, because the one person will look at it and just say they don't care. They know I want this like this, but they always do this, and it almost comes across as they're being spiteful. They can do it just because. Well, I don't care. That's how I leave it. That's how I feel. Whatever the case is, and it's that nonchalant attitude that messes up a lot of things. They can do it just because.
All right, and I know one thing when you said don't mess with your food. So do you still hold firm with that rule that if you're out with the lady and she decides that she wants something off your plate, and like, let me see what that tastes like, that she's done, you're gonna
Is it that serious?
yeah.
Really?
Don't play with my food.
Serious?
Don't play with my food.
You won't even let her taste it?
Don't do it.
So
Don't do it.
answer this, her. So, not that she reaches and just does it, but if she asks, do you still have a problem?
Yeah.
If she asks, can I taste that? That looks good. Can I taste that?
No, if she asks, I don't have a problem with it, but chances are she's not going to get any.
Wow.
You wouldn't even let her try it?
Depends on what it is.
Do you ever offer? Do you ever
I
offer?
have.
This is really good. You could try a piece, or try a piece.
I have. But if I'm hungry, I ain't offering up nothing.
Wow. You rough, man.
Daphne,
I'm honest.
She would ask before grabbing off your plate.
Yeah, gotta ask. Like I said,
I
I'm
don't
like,
think they should grab it off the plate, but I mean, if they ask you, it wouldn't hurt you to cut a little piece off and let them try it.
like I said, if man, I have an appetite. Hey, listen, if I could down a large piece in about 10 wings, I can eat without, because I always, when I go out to eat.
Hey, hold up, Herb. Already planting that seed, and it's only freaking 9:14, and you thinking about the damn pizza and wings.
He's already thinking about
already. Exactly.
Hey, I got ahead of the game tonight. Last night I went to Tops, and I was, I really hadn't even thought about it. I was like, yo, I came home from practice last night. I was talking to my man. I was like, yo, I'm in the mood for some wings and pizza. So I went to Tops to pick up something. And I happened to look in the frozen food section. I was like, oven pizza. I hadn't had an oven pizza in a long time. So what I did, snatched up a couple, got some chicken breasts, some crushed pineapples, some onions, green peppers, diced them up, threw them on. I was like, yo, I ain't got to pay $35 to get no pizza and wings. I can pay 10, grab me some chicken breasts, cut them up, dice them up real nice. $15, I got my pizza. I didn't have the wings, but oh well. I'm trying to cut back on calories. So
I thought.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I thought you were saying you got ahead of it, like if you got it for tonight. Did you get it for tonight?
I did. I bought two.
But did you say pineapple on it?
I'm telling you, man, pineapple and grilled chicken, man, it is the way to go.
Pineapple.
Way too much.
Okay. Way too much.
So for you,
Go ahead, Christine.
for you guys that are so like, oh, I hate it when a woman does that. We find it as an intimate moment to share food.
Oh, share food. Okay.
But you're like, damn, man.
No,
All right, let me ask you a question. Would you prefer if they let you put your fork and got it with your fork, or they put on their fork and put in your mouth?
Eating is serious business.
Chris?
It's serious business. Okay?
I would really rather use my own fork.
See?
That's how
It's
I
serious
would prefer
business.
to let them use their own fork. But I just was curious as to see what you would say on that.
Eating is serious business, man.
I've seen people take their fork and like put it up to the person's mouth, and I'll be cringing when they do it. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
God.
For it to be that deep, he better be my husband.
For real.
I want to drag the S.
Jake said his fork, my mouth.
Man.
That only becomes a situation with people you can't trust. And my whole thing about that is this.
About the use of your own fork versus their fork?
Yeah. If I can't eat off your fork, then I don't need to be with you, period.
So you would
You
eat
don't
off
even
your
let
fork
anybody
and
eat
put
your
up
food.
your mouth?
What are you talking about?
Thank you.
If we are at home, I have no problem.
Because you could get more.
If we are
okay.
Correct.
Okay.
If we out,
really? That's usually when it happens. When you're out.
When you're out. Yeah.
When you're out, you normally say, can I try that? It looks good. Can I try a little bit of that? And but the thing is, don't wait until I'm like to my last two forks or whatever. Then you're like, can I try that? You be like saving that just for the last moment, and then they want to eat some. They want to try some. Nah, you should have tried some of this early when I had it. When they first brought the plate out.
Good point by Amarita. She said, if you're already swapping spit, but kissing and other things, does it really matter whose fork it is?
It does.
Thank you.
It's a mental
not
thing.
if you've been doing all that, but still. But I'm thinking like a first date or something.
Oh well,
definitely not. Nah.
A first date, or you haven't even gotten to that point yet. Then
right.
I agree.
So that first date, you're not kissing yet. You're still just getting to know each other. You still can let them taste it, but use your fork or whatever.
Right.
But not eat off of my fork, and I'm not.
All right, we're gonna move on. I mean, not move on from the same thing. We were talking about deal breakers. When is too much? When does it become kind of overbearing that you say, this is it, I'm done? We heard from Herb. He kind of gave his things. Go ahead, Willie.
My tolerance, what I tell people, I'll have low tolerance for nonsense. But in relationships like that, I have, as y'all guys have heard, I hold on for 3+ years. So, I mean, I'll put up with a lot of crap if I care about the person. If I really like the person or care about the person, then I'll enough can take a long time to get there. But if you cheat on me or if I find that you're a constant liar or something like that, those are the things that really make me cut you off totally.
Okay.
Well,
Christine?
yeah, I'd say that people have about a 1.5 to 2 year shelf life with me if I feel like there's issues that I don't see getting better. And I can't say that I've been involved with a lot of liars. It's other things. It's being unmotivated, not taking care of responsibilities properly. Those things get under my skin. I'm very solution oriented. So, when there's a challenge, I don't shut down. I might stop, take a moment to figure out what's the best plan of action. But what I don't do is just sit down and do nothing and let life happen.
Just give up.
So if I see that the person has a tendency to do that, I can't deal with it. I don't deal with it well.
Yeah, because if they quit on those things, they'll quit on you too.
And I guess that's how I view it. And I'm not carrying the both of us. That's just not not fair. Now I'm a team player. I'm all about building together and all that stuff. But if I gotta build alone, why are you next to me?
That's true. I know that's right.
And for me, it's about people trying to step in and wreck your peace, or cause those aggravation, as you say, toxic and stuff. Like, my blockout game is really strong. So due to circumstances that happen in my life, so I can tolerate certain things, but when you start impacting my day-to-day activities, like at work, and I'm not being the best that I can be, or I'm frustrated, because as one of my professors said, David, you don't have a poker face. So you're going to see it. You're going to see it in my face. I don't know how to fake a smile or anything like that. So if I'm angry or upset, and that's happening all too often, it's like, man, it's time to reevaluate. But again, like I said, I have patience, but my blockout game is like, okay, I can ignore you and all that, but if you figure like, okay, he's ignoring me, and I'm gonna take it to another level. You walking on a slippery slope right there. So for me, that's how I kind of operate.
Yeah. Anything to take away my peace of mind is
deal breaker.
Yeah.
And I don't do all that arguing crap. I don't believe in that. I'm the type of person I'll say my piece. And I'll listen to. I'm not beyond listening and taking what someone else has to say into consideration. But if you get to yelling at me, that's a no. That's a no. You only got a few times to do that. And cancel culture.
Yeah, we know how that's go down. This cancel culture world.
Yes, you've been canceled.
So, all right, we covered that for a minute. Now we're gonna move on. Man, what are the hazards of women filing false police reports?
Oh, that's
when
what
they're
I'm
angry at their mates for leaving and all of that stuff. Feel like, okay, I'm gonna jam them up. You think you moving on? Watch, I'm going right downtown. Child support and all of that stuff. Why do it?
Child support isn't the same as filing a false police report. Although if you're filing child support for the sake of just being petty or
Right.
vengeful or something.
I think that's what they mean. Yeah, I think
Well,
that's
Okay.
some people do it to say, "Hey, I'm gonna try to see if I can get more." He's
Mhm.
giving, and he does extra, but I just want to see if I could get more. I just want to interrupt his lifestyle
Mhm.
because seems to be still living good,
Or
especially
he's with somebody else.
yeah, he's with
You know,
somebody
and the
else.
sad thing about that is if that's the reason why you're doing it, is just to be a thorn in that person's side, then it doesn't matter. It don't matter if they awarded you his whole check, you still gonna be miserable.
Yeah.
Because the problem is within you.
It's right. It's in them. It's not the
Right.
situation.
I'm not saying it's good for the guy, because that's an awful position to be in. I've actually known people to go through that, from somebody that wouldn't let go. Years down life, freaking child is 16, 18 years old, and they still digging, still won't let that person live, still any opportunity they can get to interrupt that person's life or make their life difficult, they're doing it. And they're using whatever resources are available to them. So if they could, if they can make it, I want him to pick up the cost of her insurance, the cost of the child's insurance, or
Daycare.
Whatever things that they already carry, that they already have in place anyway, but just to make that person's life a little more miserable, they'll do it. But what you'll see is that they're miserable themselves.
Yeah, that's what it is. They're miserable.
And that's not going to change that.
Yeah.
But it's not going to change that. But anyway, so I think that's, I really think somebody like that needs therapy.
Folks in urban communities don't believe in therapy, so
I know.
That's the other problem. They're not going to seek out help, because then they have to admit that there's a problem, that something's wrong. So we don't do that. So
that's true.
Is it story time yet?
Hey, you can drop a story to change. I can drop a
story. There can be numerous Willie moments,
Well, this story, it wasn't about child support, but this story goes back to my stalker, my 3-year stalker.
Now, here you go.
Of course, y'all know her well. So
you need to write a movie script.
Think about it. Trust me.
Book. This needs to be a movie.
Because people won't believe it. They'll think it's a fiction book or a fiction movie. But again, this stalker, like I said, when people don't want to let go or they're upset because you're with somebody else, that was the situation. So I had moved on, like I said, met a young lady, started dating this young lady. She found out, the stalker found out about it.
Uh-oh.
The next thing I knew,
I
get this letter in the mail to come to court for a restraining order. A restraining order. So
your stalker tried to get a restraining order against you?
Tried to get a restraining order against me. We show
so
up
what you supposed to do? Run every time she show up?
No, listen. Listen to the reason for this restraining order. So we show up in court. We come in there. I'm like, Your Honor, I don't see her. I don't bother her. Nothing. She tells the judge every morning when she's going to work, she sees me coming from the woman's house, the opposite direction. So she wants the judge to put a restraining order to stop me from going to the woman's house when she's on her way to work.
Is this real?
This is dead serious. The judge looked at her like you looking. She stood up in court, and that's what she said. She said, well, does he bother you? No, I just see him when I'm going to work. He be going the opposite way. But I know he coming from that woman's house.
Wow.
And the judge, she said, I can't put a restraining order here on him and tell him he can't go to somebody's house. She said, unless you were feeling threatened or something. She says, well, I felt threatened. So the judge actually said, well, we're going to postpone this hearing for 2 more weeks, have you come back, and if you still feel threatened, then we'll have to address it. But if you haven't seen Mr. Price, he's not bothering you, then we'll just dismiss the case. So needless to say, 2 weeks later, we go back, and of course, they dismissed the case. But the fact was, she actually took out a restraining order because she found out I was dating this woman, and she could see me leaving the woman's house sometimes when she was going to work. So
That's some crazy stuff.
You attract some strange fruit, man.
It sounds too crazy.
I want to go
some strange fruit.
Sandra Princess Brown, the child needs more than insurance. In the case that I'm talking about, the person was already paying a lot in child support. He was given directly to his daughter because his daughter was older. She was a teen. So, homecoming, prom parties, this, that, and the other, he was always giving to her. This was just the mother not moving on, past their relationship, which had ended years ago. That it was actually what it was when she realized that he was dating someone, and she added something, threw a little something in there, threw a little more difficulties in there for him.
And what is it? Amarita? What's it? Amarita, continue to deal with her. I wasn't continuing to deal with her. So you kind of missed the previous week. You missed the
other stories.
You missed the other stories. I wasn't actually dealing with her. She would disappear.
You're coming in on season 3.
Right. You go exactly. where this woman will disappear, leave me. I go on about my business, and 3 to 6 months she'll show up like she just went to the store and on her way back home. And you never know when she's gonna pop up, and this is what she was doing for the last 3 years. So it wasn't like I was just accepting her. I could be at the track working out, and all of a sudden I look up and she's standing behind me. 6 months later. That's the kind of craziness.
So what is she looking for? What does she want? What does she want? What does she want?
She doesn't. No clue. She just want to make sure I'm not with anybody, because that's the first thing she asked me. Or if she see me, like I used to post pictures of me when I was dating somebody, I would post them on Facebook. That's how she.
Stop posting it, man! Stop posting.
David did make a post about that this week.
I had to stop posting pictures of me and people I was dating and stuff, because that's how she found out I was dating a woman. And so.
And you been posting about all those beautiful black women. She said, what the hell you keep posting them for? I'm about to shut this shit down.
It might be
behind it.
Somebody actually filed a complaint with Facebook and blocked me from doing that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So it might have been
we put a mystery together. Who's responsible? Who's behind this?
Was she in any of those pictures? Was she in any of those pictures?
No. Because she actually, that was the other thing she brought up in court, because I had actually put her picture up there in one year. That 1 year I put her picture in there saying, well, beautiful black woman. But I didn't put her neck, like I do. I just put the pictures up. And that was part of what she brought up in court, is that I put her picture up on Facebook. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I didn't realize what she was talking about. But that's what she's talking about. So I had to actually block her picture out of it. So no, I don't put her picture up on beautiful black women anymore. Yes.
So she said
3
you ain't
years of terror.
No pictures.
3 years of terror.
So has anybody else had any situations like this?
Did anybody get that story?
I can't say that I have. My cut game is strong. Once I close the door, it's a vault and that's sealed. There ain't no getting out. I don't have them type of issues.
I think that type of thing is easier to happen when it is kids involved that you can use as pawns.
It seems like a lot of people, they do that, and it's sad because ultimately the question becomes, what are you teaching the kids?
You
And
know,
that's
this
right.
makes I'm sorry. It does make me think of a story. This is going way, way back because I would never, ever, ever do this again. But I was dating somebody I worked with. That's a big mistake. That's big oofy no.
Okay.
Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
But I was dating somebody I worked with, and he got on the elevator with a woman. He told her, "You look nice today." She filed a sexual harassment complaint against him.
Wow.
He was put on suspension while they investigated it. So it just so happened that the second ex, Mrs. Brooks, worked at the same place.
Oh gosh.
No, me and her we're real close. We're like sisters. But she worked in the department with the girl. And she told me, she said, "Chris," she said, "that so-and-so," she said, "it's just between me and you." She told me she did it. And she told me she did it just because he was talking to you.
Wow.
They say, "Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned."
That man could have lost his job.
Yep. They don't care. They don't care.
It ended up being dismissed, and he was, brought back into work and given his back pay. But just the idea, because he didn't try to talk to you.
Yep.
That
and there's a record somewhere floating around about that situation.
Yes, there is.
He's dead, so it won't.
Oh, well, he went away.
But the fact is, it happened. Okay.
What Doug talking about? Please don't get him started on that celebration post. Doug, leave my celebration post alone.
We getting to it.
No,
you're talking about the celebration of Black
women.
Yeah,
Doug talking about the celebration post. No, I ain't talking about that.
Yeah, but that's the only other incident like that I really remember. Although, I don't know if this man is a single father or if he's married. But a friend on my Facebook friend. So I don't know this person offline, but they do live, in my town. Was talking about someone called the Division of Family Services on him with a false call.
Yep.
And, they came out and investigated and everything and found nothing, was irritated. The social workers were, but they were like, "Dude, evidently someone is mad at you."
Yep.
And that's another thing. That's something people do. Yeah. I know I've had it done to me back in the day. And that's like, why would you even play with kids that have a good home? Why would you even play with their security? Just at the off chance you can get it at the parent and make a mess of their lives.
Miserable people out there.
Yeah. Some people just they don't care.
If they see you happy, especially in a relationship, they will go out of their way to try to see if they can mess up that relationship. That's why I said, like I was talking about earlier, I used to post pictures when I dated people. I was posting pictures up of me and them together, and I found that people who I thought were my friends were like guys were inboxing her, or there was actually women inboxing her, talking, trying to discourage her against dating me. I mean, I've had all kinds of
stuff.
You was doing too much, Willie. Doing too much, man.
So that's why I don't post. I had to stop posting pictures like that, you know. I had to stop posting
Man, I
pictures
thought you
of I was
knew.
dating or, you know, and those kind of things. I was, you know, I always was posting pictures if I was with somebody and I'm happy and they're happy. We're out going to different places and different events. And man, her inbox will blow up. They would never say anything to me, of course, you know, but they will blow
Now,
up her.
was it ever guys that you knew
Guys,
trying to at her?
yeah, guys, some guys that I knew and guys that I didn't know would try to get at her and, you know, inboxing her. And then
So let me ask you gentlemen this since now this is somebody I dated probably a good 8 years ago. But recently, a close friend of theirs inboxed me, trying to hit on me. I found it foul. Am I wrong for thinking that was foul?
8 years?
But they're close friends.
It depends on what their code is. They may not care. They may share.
More than likely, they wanted you from day one when you was with him.
Clearly, he did, because that's what he inboxed me. He inboxed me about remembering the very first time he met me, which was in the presence of this man.
Yeah.
You know, and
but he doesn't cross the line when y'all were together.
Yeah. So he figured 8
no,
years.
He didn't cross the line when we were together.
He
I just still think it's foul. Plus, he knows this person still likes me, still wants. Yeah, I just think it's foul.
He probably thought it was a statutory limitation, like 7, 8 years, it's done, whatever.
That's why we said 7, 8 years. So you still in contact with the other guy too, or the other guy still likes you, or you said?
Yeah, he still likes me. I mean, we're friends. I'm not interested in
that. So if you were to date his friend, the one that's approaching you, would you ever run into that other guy?
I'm sure.
Okay,
I'm sure we would.
That could be a problem then.
Yeah.
That would be a problem. Unless he talked to the guy first and say, hey, you know.
To me, it was flag on the play. That was foul, in my opinion.
But if
some guys roll like that.
The guy before he did it, or he just came at you?
I'm sure he just came at me.
Yeah, because he would have told you, well, I talked to XYZ and I did let him know that I wanted to reach out to you. You know what I mean? That would have been the right thing to do. And
this guy would flip his lid if he knew.
Well, see, so he didn't do that then. So he just kind of went with it. Yeah, see, that wouldn't be cool. Because even if it was somebody who I was friends with and they dated somebody, you know, years ago, and I know that they dated them, I would have been like, yo, you know, I saw so-and-so and me and her good friends on Facebook. I was going to ask her out, you know, but I just wanted to let you know and see how you felt about it. You know what I mean? Out of respect for that friendship. I wouldn't have just done it, because then, especially if I'm still in touch with that person, I'm talking to them every other day or whatever. Then all of a sudden they see me out with you and they be like, dude, I just talked to you last week. You ain't told me nothing about, you know.
Yeah. See, I just thought anyway, that was a little off topic, but I just wanted to know.
No, that would be dirty.
No.
So enough is enough.
Yeah. Go ahead.
When I went to Jamaica with an ex, and he only brought $10 for spending money.
Oh, shit.
We were there for a week. He spent $10 on weed. I had so much fun. You did right. You had fun by yourself. You went on by yourself. You did right. You sit there at the property and smoke your weed. I'm getting ready to do it.
His logic was KYP. I always say most important letters in the alphabet. KYP. Know your personnel. He knew you was coming with money. So he said, shit, all I got is $10 and I'm going to get some of that Jamaican weed, thinking that you was going to pay for everything else. And you said, fuck him. I'm about to go dolo and enjoy myself. And he was sitting around looking stupid in the face. Good one for you.
Asking if you could take some food off of your plate.
that actually happened.
Hopefully they were all inclusive.
That happened to a friend of mine. She went with a guy to Las Vegas, and he did the same thing to her. He kept saying, you know, I will give you the money for the trip when we get there. First it was before, you know, I'm gonna give you the money for the trip before we leave. Then I'm gonna give you the money when we get there. And then when they got there, he didn't have any money at all. And they
no money for food, no money for
no money for nothing. well, my check didn't come, so I'm gonna give you the money when we get back home. And so she, like a fool, she paid for everything and paid for the food. And when they got back home, of course, he didn't give her a stamp. But I mean, there's no way in the world that I'm going on a trip with nobody and making sure they don't have any money. You got to have some money. You got to show me something. You got to show me that, if we're going on this trip.
Unless it's agreed upon.
That you're going to pay for everything?
Yeah.
And that kind of agreement in the world.
Yeah, that's about principles and the way you were raised.
Yeah,
some of that stuff is still in you that, like, no matter what, even though he said he's going to pay for it, I'm going to have my own money for something.
Right.
For something.
Yeah.
And even if she...
That's a rootless existence. I can't rock with it.
The thought that, well, I'm going to take her out to dinner a couple times, just because she's paying for everything, I'm still going to take her out to dinner. I'm going to buy her a nice gift. You want to do something. But just come there with $10 and say, I'm going to give me some weed. And
he was just running game.
And yeah, that's what that was. That's what that was. And see, that's another story for another time. But I actually went with New York with somebody who did that and said they was going to give me the money when we got there. When we was leaving, they was going to give me the money. Then they was going to give me the money when we got there. And then all of a sudden, they ain't got no money and ain't nothing I could do about it. And they got left in New York City. But that was a whole nother story. Woo! Another time. I left her right in New York City.
Y'all drove there?
Yeah.
Oh, so how did you get away from it?
Because she was going to a friend's house, and I was staying at my friend's house. But she asked, could she ride down with me? She's gonna help pay, pay the way down and pay the way back, whatever. Cool, right? No problem. And when we got there, since you say, I'll see you back in Buffalo, maybe.
So you bailed out over there.
I sure did. I got in my car and came home.
Ooh.
Oh man, it's crazy.
I wouldn't.
I was young then, though.
I wouldn't play those games unless I knew
young college student.
Had my own way home.
Yeah, you don't go nowhere. Especially if you're telling people you're gonna pay.
I don't go nowhere even if they are saying that, hey, I got you, I'm taking care of everything. I'm making sure I have the ability to get home. In case anything goes awry, I can get myself home.
Exactly. You always want to make sure you got your back covered.
So Amarita added to this. She said, we went in April. He got his income tax refund in February. I kept telling him, put money aside for the trip. It was all inclusive and paid for before we went. So he said, man, I got to do some other things with that money.
He had to give me that money as I'm paying for it. Like if you had
all inclusive, it's all included.
But if you had a payment plan for your trip, because you paid for it ahead of time, you had to pay for it ahead of time. If you had a payment plan for your trip, he would have had to been giving me the money as we go. Otherwise, if I'm paying for it by myself anyway, take him off of it, and it'll just be a trip by myself. Forget it.
So, Anne-Marie, the trip was paid for in advance, and you paid all that up front. He still didn't pay along with you? Because, see, that would have been a sign right there.
Yeah.
If I'm saying, all right, give me your half, I'm about to make a payment, and you ain't giving me nothing. He paid for the trip. He paid for the trip. He just had no money when they got on the trip. Oh.
Okay, that sounds a little better.
He said it was all inclusive. It was all inclusive.
Okay, well then still then kick it at the resort because
that's his mindset. That was his mindset. It's all inclusive.
I'm going to do other things, so I feel you on it.
But you know what? That's funny. You can tell people who've never been like traveling a lot or don't travel a lot because he heard it was all inclusive. Your food and your drinks are all included. And
so he was like, I don't need no extra money.
Exactly. He went with the mindset, I don't need any money because everything is included. I'm going to take me some money, give me some weed, and I'll be good.
And you know what? Again, that's upbringing. That is upbringing. I learned from as a child, no matter where I went,
That's right.
Whether it was my mother giving me money, my grandmother, my grandfather, my aunts, they always made sure I had money. It could be just going to the carnival or something. Where you going? Okay, here go a few dollars, here, whatever. Because
That's
you
your
never
own.
want to depend on anyone. And a lot of times I make this parallel when you talk about going out to drink with some of your buddies, and they say, you say, hey, I'm broke, and they say, man, I got you, I got you,
Yep.
I got you. Then you get there, it
And
seems
they
your
don't
ass
have
thirsty.
it.
Yeah, you thirsty, but you always gotta wait for them. Always gotta wait for them to come around. Like, oh, look at you and be like, oh, you want something else? You know I want something else. This shit been empty for like 20 minutes. Like, what's going on? You don't put yourself in those situations that you have to depend on others, because some people, they got a sickness about it, and they like that control.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he got to wait
Yeah.
on me to do this, and then next thing you know, they telling the next man, yeah, I went out with his broke ass.
Yep.
You
Dog
know,
you out.
so you don't
Dog you
put
out.
yourself in a situation. So
Yep.
for me, that's upbringing that my family always said, make sure you have your own money to spend
Yep.
and don't count on nobody else. And
You,
that should be just a religious thing, not in a sense of religious Bible, but that should
right, but
just
just a
be like,
practice.
yeah, practice, yeah.
You see what Amarita said? She said, that's exactly what the guy said, is what I said, is that it was all inclusive in his mind. Because you can tell people who've never traveled, he heard all inclusive, you get your food, your drinks, everything included. So he figured he didn't need any money. People who don't travel and never travel, that's how they think. People who have traveled, they know when you go all inclusive, you still do things outside the resort and, other activities.
Yeah.
You leave tips,
Yeah, we refer to that as a 6-block radius mentality. They're not used to travel. Yeah, they're not used to traveling much further than a 6-block radius from around their
neighborhood. Home. Exactly, that's true. That's true. And that's exactly what I figured when she said the trip was paid for all inclusive, and he only brought $10. Yeah, he was thinking, well, it's all inclusive. Well, I don't need any money.
Right.
Why wouldn't you think that? Like,
even though she's telling him, she's telling him all the way up to the trip, put you some money aside. You're gonna need a little spending money, and he's like,
it's all inclusive. What I need some money for?
But I need some money for it, right?
Whew, man,
Lordy.
So we're gonna segue into the next point about, can you have a relationship with no gender roles? Now this is big. It's big.
Excuse me.
What does that mean? Yeah. What does that mean?
You know what that means, Willie.
Yeah. You think of gender roles as the woman cooks and cleans.
Oh.
And the man takes care of the cars in the yard and does the fixes things around the house.
Right.
Or whatever. Can you have a relationship with no gender roles?
I could, because I think whoever can do it the best should do it, or can help do it, or mostly do it. For example, like when I was married, I did most of the cooking because I enjoyed cooking. She could cook. Sometimes she would cook too, or we cook together. But I enjoyed cooking. But I also cut the grass, and then we started hiring people to cut the grass. You know what I mean? I work on houses, so I did a lot of stuff around the house. Those kind of things. So I mean, it wasn't like, okay, you the woman, you cook, and then we paid a lady to come in and clean. So she would clean, and then I would help. We both clean sometimes, around the house. But then we also had a lady that came in like once or twice a week to clean also. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, there was like no, this is your role, that's my role. It's just we just made sure stuff was done. If something needed to be done, if we knew something needed to be done, we looked at who could handle it the best. And a lot of things, like I said, because I did work, I worked on houses, I had houses, at a property management company. So anything related to housing, I did most of it, or we would hire somebody and I would monitor to make sure it was done the right way. But in that instance, I think I could, because I've done it. So I could see that happening.
So how about you gentlemen, David or her? What do y'all think?
For me, yeah, I'm gonna agree with Willie that I can do it, whatever. It's just about getting stuff done, and it's all about interdependence, whatever. Like some people have strengths, other people have weaknesses, and you build upon each other. You can't say that, oh, this is a role for men, and men only should do this, and women should only do that, because things have advanced in this day and age that sometimes women have learned from their father. Say for example, if you're a child and you only one kid, and your mother, she works a job, and you spend a lot of time on the weekends with your father, and he's working on cars, and he's or out there cutting grass and doing stuff, and you're with him, and you learn that stuff. So as you become an adult, you're like, I'm interested in this, and that may be your skill set. But sometimes men don't have that skill set. It's some guys that fathers may not have been around, so they don't know how to do certain things.
Right.
They shouldn't be shamed for that. And the same thing with women. They shouldn't be shamed if they say, "Well, I'm really not the best cook," but you know how to cook because you've been around your mother, your grandmother, and stuff like that. So I really believe that you just work together and make it work. And that's the thing.
Or she might be good with numbers, and you say, okay, well, I'll give you the money, you handle the bills, and you take care of the bills, because she might be better at budgeting or paying the bills. You know what I mean? So that could be a role, but it doesn't. It's all about who does it the best. Who has the time to do it, or whatever the case may be.
So my father was very, how do I put it? He was kind of immovable on those things, on gender roles, so to speak. Like even to the point when I left his house, I remember he wouldn't let I wanted to borrow his lawnmower, and before I could borrow the lawnmower, he was like, put him on the phone. So I put my guy on the phone, and he's like, okay, I'm loaning you this lawnmower, but I'm telling you right now, my daughter better not be cutting grass. So my father was very strict on that. When I was by myself, he would come over, or he would send my brothers over to take my trash out. Yeah, so he was very strict on gender roles. But here's the funny part. I was a daddy's girl.
Okay.
So whatever my father was doing, this was me. Right? I know how to hang drywall. I know how to work on cars. I know how to run electricity. So he has been passed for some time, and I've done a lot of those things. I laugh about it because I'm like, he's probably flipping over in his grave. Yeah, but I mean, and I've been, so with my ex, this is my children's father, the younger three. With him, and he's the same one that he told, okay, I'm gonna bring this lawnmower over here, but she better not be cutting the grass. And this was after my father died. We were together, and he was very much like that. So I can remember if it was taking him, like I knew how to work on cars, he didn't. I can remember if he was taking too long to get something done that I wanted done, I would start doing it because I knew how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that would just send him over the top. And I would kind of wait till he was gone. There was one time, I forget what was wrong with this car, but my car, and it's sitting out there. I can't drive it because he won't get it fixed. But don't want me fixing. So he left and I went to start working on. Well, he busted me. He came home with it while I was still working on it. He was like, if you don't get your A in the house, embarrassing me.
So now who is this? Your father or your husband? I mean,
husband. This was not
a husband. So wait a minute, he wouldn't get the car fixed, but he didn't want you to fix it either.
No, he was taking his time. Oh, believe me. When he saw me out there like that, he sent me in the house and he called somebody over. He had it fixed that same day.
Okay.
But the point was he was very much about those gender roles.
Okay.
Him, if I wanted to cut the grass, he'd come take the lawnmower from me. Don't be out here embarrassing me. You got me looking like I'm not a man. Go in the house, piddle around in the kitchen. That was his.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's not the mindset these days. And, and it's like you said, you were raised where you knew how to do drywall and all those other things.
But the funny part, the irony of it is my father had those same attitudes, but these things I learned from him because I sat there like this, watching everything he did.
Exactly. And
so I picked it up.
Yeah.
Regardless. I mean,
even though he saw you probably sitting there
and do handiwork like that, drywall, he lays floor, will run electricity or change out light fixtures, all that stuff. He learned that from me. His father wasn't even around.
Wow.
So we got a couple comments I want to address. Nicole said it's not about having gender roles, just have agreed upon roles, and that's true.
I would agree.
Yeah,
and that's true. Thanks, family, for that feedback.
And I really liked what David, you and Willie was saying. Who does it best? Who could best get this done? That's really what it should be about, instead of
finding somebody.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be no put down game for that. Oh,
right.
As a woman, I had to fix this tire, or I had to do this, because that your mate has other attributes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about putting down or whatever. But a lot of times when you had that chatter, when your friends called, like, "What you doing?" "I was out here changing this tire." "What? Where was your man? What was
that
he doing?"
That
is the caveat. That is the killer right there.
That part.
Yeah.
That
you don't
part
want to
right
tell
there.
everybody every goddamn thing that you do.
But it's amazing. It's amazing how many men don't know how to change a tire, don't know how to change a light bulb in their car, don't know how to, all those things. Like I said, I grew up just like you, like Christina did. I watch people do things. I'm a person that I hate spending money. So if I can watch and learn how to do it, I'll do it myself. And so I find myself all the time out there fixing on my car. I hate getting oil and grease on my hands, but I could change oil. I could change, water pumps. I could, all that stuff I used to do. I just hated doing certain things. But if they were going to charge me a lot of money to do it, I would go do it myself. And if I couldn't do it, then I would find somebody to do it. But most of the stuff I did, it was because I didn't want to pay somebody else to do it. That's how I learned how to work on houses, electrical, plumbing, heating, all those things, drywall, like Christine talked about. And then working on cars. I would pay guys to fix my car, and I'll stand and watch them do it. And then the next time something else happened, I'd fix it myself.
Do it yourself, right?
Yeah. But I would, I learned that. So then when I got married, like I said, I was doing all these things around the house. And then if it was something I didn't want to do, then we would just hire somebody to do it. But other than that, we made sure we had what we needed, and we did what we needed to get it done. It wasn't assigned to anybody. It was just, okay, this is what needs to be done, and we get it done.
And see, I'm gonna be transparent. I don't know how to do a lot of that shit. I don't know how to change a damn tire.
You don't know how to change a tire?
No, I don't know how to change a tire, and I can admit that. I ain't gonna be macho and say that I know how to do it. I never the way I grew up is my father was around for a while. And I'm sure if he would have been there throughout the duration, I would have possibly learned that. But he didn't. And my grandfather, he always had people who did stuff for him.
Mm-hmm.
Cousins and stuff like that come by and they would do everything. Like I always tell this stuff, even about fishing. I don't even know how to damn fish, but I used to go with him fishing like 2 hours, a ride 2 hours away. And I'm like, why am I here? I couldn't fish. I couldn't throw rocks in the water because I'm scaring away the fish. But he never taught me how to do it. And then after a while, and I got older, he was like, hey, we going such and such. You want to go fishing? I wanted to say to him, hell no. I don't want to go. Hell no. For what? While you and your buddies drink beer? No, thank you. So he always had people who did that stuff. So I never learned that. I'm not ashamed of it.
To your credit, like you said, that is not to me, that should not be like, oh, as a man, if you can't do that, you're not a man. It should never be like that. I can remember one time my daughter, her car wouldn't start, and she was out with her boyfriend. The car wouldn't start. They hadn't come together to where they were. They went to work out somewhere together. Anyway, she called me to say, I'm stuck. My car won't start. I was on a date. So I was like, well, I got to go check on my daughter. Dude, of course, was irritated, but oh well. We go to check on my daughter. I get out of the car and I said, turn it over. Let me hear. She turned it. Nothing. I'm like, okay, pop the hood. She popped the hood. I wiggled the battery cable around. Could tell it was loose. Tightened it up. She started the car. Was able to drive off. Which the guy, her boyfriend, he stayed there. He didn't leave until she left. I mean, he had his own car. He didn't leave till she left. And we got back in the car and dude was like, that don't make no damn sense. And then her boyfriend right there, and he didn't know what to do. I said, I didn't see you do anything.
Right.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? He was right. You didn't know what to do. But now you want to call this young boy out. And the thing was, that's the thing. He was young. The boyfriend. He was young and he was raised by a single mother. He wouldn't know what to do. He wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah.
But if you haven't been raised around that kind of activity, of course not.
Yeah, so you don't front like you the man and you didn't get out there and do it.
And do nothing. Exactly.
No, you watched me do it.
Exactly.
You stood there smoking a cigarette while I'm doing it, because you didn't know what to do. And I knew he didn't know what to do.
And see, like I said, I learned a lot of stuff. I grew up, like we left my father when we were 5 years old. And so I was always out in the streets. My stepfather, he ran a car lot with his brother. So like I said, I was always around watching them do that. And then I was watching people work on stuff. And then I moved out when I was 16. So when I was 16, I was working and learning different things on my own because I was always hustling, trying to make money. So I've always, learned skills that would help me to make money. So it just, as I got older, I ended up knowing so many different things. It was like, what the heck?
And that's what it was for me. I went from watching my father to watching my brothers, and my ex-husband did know how to work on cars. My father taught him, I watched him just because I'd be around. This is me,
Yeah,
so, and you absorb it.
Mm-hmm.
But for somebody to look at somebody else and say, for a man to look at another man and say, you're not a man because you don't know how to do it, knowing damn well you don't know how to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not even an issue. If as a man, if you don't know how to do it, just know how to make a phone call to get it done.
Yeah. Like Nicole said, call AAA. Long as you know the AAA number and got your card with you, you good.
Mm-hmm. Lakia, thanks for joining us.
Lakia, you're late,
it's girl. A crazy day, crazy busy day. And I'm not even. It's not even over. I'm still working. I'm working on contracts now, so I'm just grateful. Busy.
Making that
working.
money. Making that money.
That's the hope. But I did go into contract with 2 houses. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Excited. But yeah. So I missed that last part. We talk about working on cars.
No,
We were talking about gender roles.
Gender roles.
Oh, gender roles. Yeah.
Gender roles in relationships.
Well, I feel with that, I shouldn't be working on no cars. A man's supposed to be there doing that, so I hire a man to do it. I just want to jump in my car with the gas, with the oil, make sure the oil's changed, and that's all I really want to work with. But
so what about
trust
the
me,
man
at my age now, I'm not working on no cars. I'm not getting under no cars. I'm not getting my hands dirty.
Right.
I did it back in the day out of necessity. But
I had a girlfriend of mine that knew all kind of stuff about cars, and I would go to her because her dad taught her a lot about cars. But me, I'm just like, please, just somebody fix it. I don't know. I don't want to.
And I wouldn't know what to do with today's cars anyway.
Yeah.
Today's cars.
Yeah, today's cars are. Yeah, they're different.
Yeah,
back in the day, I could break an engine down and take the heads out and take them to go get. Take them to a machine shop and reassemble it and everything.
That's probably by design. That,
they make them now so
you
can't fix them. They try to make
absolutely is. It is absolutely by design.
I bought a car a little over a year ago, a Chrysler Sebring, and all of a sudden, the alternator went on it. The alternator went on it. So I got that replaced. But they didn't do anything with the battery. The battery died on the car about a month after I got the alternator replaced. I went to lift the hood up. I'm like, where the hell is the battery?
Yeah.
But I never paid no attention to the fact that the battery wasn't where the battery normally is. Right. It was under the wheel well on the driver's side behind the wheel well. Yeah, and I was like,
I had a Chrysler Sebring.
What the hell? And AAA came and they couldn't change it because you have to take the wheel off and all this kind of stuff.
That labor kickback they looking for.
And it was like, why would you put the battery under the wheel well? But it's so you can't do things yourself. You have to hire people.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they make everything so tight that you can't get in there anyway without the proper equipment.
Dirty game they play.
It's
I had no idea what that battery was, and when I found it, I couldn't get to it. You have to take the wheel, so I had to jack the car. I would have to jack the car up, took the wheel off, and then pull the panel off, and then got to the battery. And I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
I just had the same situation. Well, I had an issue with the engine in my truck, and I had to get it replaced. And I bought it from a place in California, out of Texas. And
you bought the truck or the engine?
The engine.
Okay.
And I had a crack on the engine when it came in. And so now I've been trying to get a refund for the fact that they that worked. The oil plate was cracked. And so I'm trying to get a refund for the oil plate because they had to take the engine back out again, put my old one in and put it back in, and that was like another 4.2 hours of work. And that was another $600 to pay.
Yeah.
So I'm just done with cars.
This is recent?
Yeah. Just happened. Then like 2 days later it shut off again because the starter. So I had to put a new starter.
Wow.
Yeah.
What year's your vehicle?
A 2011.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I drive it a lot. So I was trying to just ride it out. I said till the wheels fall off, but it's really trying me now.
For real.
It's trying my words.
Whew. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff about the gender roles. Anybody else want to add something on before we move on to the next?
Hey, some men cook better than women anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was asking Lakia. I said, what about in the kitchen? Do you feel that it should be the woman's role to do all the cooking or the majority of the cooking, or how do you feel about that?
No, I feel like it should be shared. I like a man to cook for me. So no, I think
Because
he
you like
should
to
cook.
eat. That's what, because you like to eat. So
You know, I like to eat. He should cook. I cook. We buy out. A combination.
Shout out to D Derail Life Solutions. He said, "Great discussion. I have already subbed at the Controversial Council. Thank you, brother, for
all
subscribing
right.
to my channel. Appreciate it. And keep joining us. Keep coming back."
Yes.
Herb, man, you've been quiet for a while, man. Talk to
Herb got a
us.
coat on. Herb, where you been, man? You been
Yeah,
outside?
been worried about that damn pizza you didn't put in that damn oven. What's going on with it?
He ordered some wings to go with it.
Yeah, something.
No, my house is cool, man. It's about 60, it's about 61, 60 degrees in here. So it's kind of cool.
It is.
And I ain't trying.
outside.
Yeah. But
we're running heat down here.
Really?
Not yet, not for me. Nope. I ain't gonna do it. Besides, there's only one person here any damn way. But anyway, this is interesting because like Christine said, her father taught her some things, and Lakia's of the mindset that men should do certain things. And I always say in a relationship, there's two things that are for certain. A man's gonna get a woman pregnant, and she's gonna deliver that child. She's gonna carry that child to term. Beyond that, everything else should be negotiated. But the thing about that, now that we start to look into how modern culture is taking over, is that there are some gender roles that are never ever going to change. And one of those is the man being the high earner of the two. Because most women are not going to want to financially support a man. I don't care what anybody says. You let a woman support a man, she's going to eventually grow to resent him, and she's going to lord over him, or she's going to end up eventually putting him out. So, it's always interesting how we see these in totality, and we never take them apart and start looking at them and say, well, why are certain things the way that they are?
I would have to kind of disagree. I know several couples. I know a few couples where the woman is the breadwinner, is the one that makes more money.
No. I'm not saying between the two who makes more money. I'm just simply saying, will she work while he stays at home?
That's different.
I knew a couple like that. I used to work with a lady that was like that, and she admitted, she was like, "Yeah, we're weird, but my husband is a stay-at-home dad, and I work." And she said, "And I wouldn't have it any other way."
Okay, so some people it works, but with the vast majority, it just won't.
I would have to agree with you. It's rare,
very rare.
So when you start to look at those type of things and those type of situations, you say, why isn't it like that more often, especially when you get into the white collar jobs, lawyers, doctors, dentists, anything that's in a STEM field where women can make that type of money? If that's the case, then why not? Would you rather actually?
A sense of pride, a man's pride should have him at a point where he's not going to want to sit at home and be the stay-at-home dad. Even if he's at home, he should have some source of income coming into the house, whether he has a business running out of the house, you know what I mean? Something. Not sitting at home watching the kids and washing dishes and cooking dinner. So when she come home, the house is clean and all that kind of stuff. See that is a role reversal, I would call it. You know what I mean? And that most men, and I would say real men, wouldn't go for that. I'll say real men, because that's something where that term really fits. Most real men wouldn't go for that. Most men would want to have their own, be able to feel they contribute to the household.
So here's a question. With this being said, I wonder, just based on what Herb said, how many men that do that they work and the woman stays at home and doesn't work, are resentful. Grow
Did the
resentful.
woman stay home or resented?
Yeah. Do they grow resentful? Do they grow resentful? Do they feel like, dang, I'm getting up every day. I got to leave the house. I got to face the world. I'm out here in all kind of different weather, and
It depends on
she
your
gets to stay
upbringing,
home.
and it depends on your upbringing, and it depends on your relationship with the person. If you were raised that way, where your father was the breadwinner and the mother stayed home, then you grew up in that environment. So that may be something that you've expected to do when you got married,
Right.
or you got married, or you got in a position in a job where you were making a nice amount of money, and you say, well, I don't want my wife to work. I want her to just raise the kids and take care of the house, and I'll take care of them. You know what I mean? So it depends on your upbringing, and it depends on the situation that you're in.
Well, I know for my situation, I remember when I first got married, my ex was not working as much, and I was, well, let's say after I started having the babies, and like he would stay home and take care of the kids while I was at work, and then when I would come home from work, that's when he would go and try to do some work. Let's say it that way. So
he still worked though.
Yeah, like here and there. He wasn't consistent. Because he did more carpet work, so like cleaning carpets and stuff like that. So that sometimes can be seasonal, depending, what's going on with the weather. But he didn't have a job on the books. So sometimes that is like something that you could be concerned about. But I think I was okay with it, to be honest with you. I was okay as long as he was doing his part for the family, that was taking care of the kids. I think I was okay with that. I do have like a family member that she made more money than her husband for a long time. He did have a job, but she was the breadwinner, and he wasn't intimidated by it. And then now he makes about the same as her.
Because they both contribute to the household. Like I said, if it's an understanding of, well, we're going, as long as the bills are taken care of, or whatever, however we do it, if it's agreed upon, then that's going to work a lot better than you just being stuck in a situation where you're you almost forced to have to pay the bills because he's not working. All he's doing is staying home watching kids. So now all the onus is on you to make sure everything is done.
No, he held up his own when it came to his bills, so that was okay. But I was still the one that made the most. And he would be home during the day, and I would be home during the evening.
Well, on paper, when I was married, on paper, my wife made more money than me on paper. And it was funny because, like I said, I have my real estate, I have my businesses on paper because she had a regular job. It showed her income. Because I had so many different incomes, and a lot of my stuff was, when I did it. But it was so funny because I had my inspection company. I did inspections, Lakia. I did inspections, and I had my real estate, and I had some other businesses. And some mornings, my mother-in-law would send me one ads from the newspaper telling me somebody was hiring. And I used to get a kick out of it because, of course, she knows her daughter's getting up going to work. And I'm still sitting at home, or I'm watching TV, or
that's
I'm
some
in the
Buffalo
basement.
Brothers. That's some Buffalo Brothers. That's how y'all do.
Damn.
And her mother would send me one ad talking about so and so hiring and this person hiring, and I used to laugh.
That's funny.
I'm like, why does she think I need a job? But because she didn't know. If you looked at it, you were like, does he work? Even one of my neighbors asked me one time, he was like, do you work? And I said, yeah, I work all the time. But they don't
tell me you ain't got no job.
Yeah. Tell me you ain't got no job. He ain't got no job. Wifey said with my ex. It's like he don't work.
Wifey should explain that. To her mother.
And that's what I told her. I said, well, you talk to your mother and stop tell her to stop sending me one ads. But it was just because their family was used to everybody work. Everybody got up every day.
Job. They
Right.
were used to
And so
traditional jobs.
Like
exactly.
being a business owner. No one
And
was
see,
like
I've been a
business,
business
you
owner for
know.
over 20
Mhm.
years. So for me, I work when I want to work, but when I work, I'm working till, 12, 13 hours sometimes, 14 hours. But then when I take off, I take off. And so they just could understand that, she get up going to work and I'm laying in the bed watching, TV and,
Now, see,
playing with
I'd
the
have just been
dog.
pissed off on the strength. If I gotta get up, everybody in the household gotta get up.
That's how her
Yeah,
felt, Well,
I
she
don't care if
Everybody.
you're getting up
you
and
need to
walk
be
me
getting
to the door. You need to get up.
and I think
It's always
sometimes
just
that's the
me.
bigger issue. When you get up and somebody, if they're laying there and they got nowhere to go, and then when you come back, they're
Shut up,
still
Rob.
laying there, still laying there. You're like, what the fuck? Like,
I'm laying on the couch
so.
watching TV, Like,
No,
honey,
the
you
thing,
already
You
told
up,
me to
up
go.
like,
Turn on all the lights and make all the noise in the world.
right.
You
No,
ain't
the
getting
thing
ready
that
to
would
sleep.
tick me off is if it was like the house was a mess and I would have to come home
But it wasn't. The
and I
house
would have to
wasn't a
clean
mess.
up.
Sometimes dinner would be cooked. It depends on what she wanted. Sometimes we'd go out. It was never like come home and the house a mess or nothing like I said, everything was always taken care of. It was just they couldn't understand that, well, what does he do? Because they never really took the time to find out what they do. They knew I had an inspection company, but they didn't even understand that until her mother got ready to buy a house. And then when I came out and inspected the house for her, then she understood what I did.
Yeah.
I'd have
Mhm.
made her ass suspect that shit by herself.
It took
Yeah,
her
for
seeing.
real.
It took her seeing what I
Dang,
did.
baby.
Since she all up in yours, whatever, that's what you should have did. Like, no, expect that.
Right. And when she was, when she was checking around like inspections and stuff, and she saw how much inspections cost, and she heard, she knew I was going to do inspection. She just didn't understand what it was. And then when she saw how much they cost, and then when she needed one, she saw the work that I did and how busy I was with doing it. Then she was like, okay. But she still calmed down. She calmed down a little bit with those. She calmed down a little bit with it. But she was definitely I mean, initially she was sending me want ads and circled jobs. She would circle the jobs in the paper, and
I was doing too much.
It's way too much. Because I guess she assumed her daughter was taking care of me. My daughter going out there struggling, take care of this man. He laying around the house watching TV.
That's the Buffalo Brothers. That's all I'm saying.
That's it. Whatever.
You guys don't know. I'm gonna share something with you guys. My ex is they share sisters. Willie and my ex share sisters. So that's where
that's how we met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When y'all had the shop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, they share sisters.
Small world.
Yeah, my stepsister and his stepsister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I want to read Nicole's statement. She's I agree that women and men cannot handle women making more money. It is rare, but it can be done. If a man has a sense of self, it can work. If a woman can calm her ego, it can work.
I've dated a lot of women that made more money than me on paper.
Yeah.
I've dated a lot of women. I wouldn't date a woman that didn't make more money than me on paper, because I knew what I brought to the table.
Let me see. Marcia said
women that have made it more money than me.
Marcia said, I'm old school, and personally, I was always told by my late mother to be able to provide for yourself. Never depend on a man's income solely. And her words of wisdom has never failed me. If both parties are truly in a committed marriage, why should it really matter who makes what, as long as they are able to meet all the obligations that need to be taken care of?
Exactly.
Now,
amen, Marcia.
What she said her mother taught her, my father definitely taught me that.
Amen, Marcia.
My aunt taught me that.
Mm-hmm.
I taught myself.
And for some of you guys, whatever that, that may be the case, it's okay. I hope that would be a burning desire for you to say, you know what, I'm about to step up my game as well. I mean, some guys may have it that I don't have to work like that. If I put in a few hours, because what I do, if you average it out, I make more than you per hour, but you may work more hours. If that's the case,
Right.
but if you're just sitting around like, okay, I'm making more money than you, it makes sense for you to keep the kids. To me, as a
Yeah.
man, you're gonna say, man, I gotta find something to step my game up. And it can't be like that. I'm just saying, for me, I'm gonna step my game up some way, somehow. Whether I have to go back to school to take some courses or whatever the case is, that I'm gonna make sure that I'm valued. And she sees me as, you know, he's doing his thing, he's trying. But if you just like, oh well, this is what it is. I put the kids down. Now I'm about to play 2K such and such. They sleep, or whatever the case is. Yeah.
I did go through that for a while with my younger three kids' father. Now we went through periods where, because he if he had it his way, I would stay at home and he would work. That's how he preferred it. And there were many times that it was like that. There were a few times I made more money than him. There was a time that he wasn't working and he was at home with the kids and I was working. And yeah, I didn't like it. I'll be honest. I didn't like it.
Like
But
him staying home.
yeah, and I felt like he was getting too comfortable. But I will say, when I told him that, he immediately got up and got his crap together, got a job, and you know, he was never a lazy person.
Right.
So that just wasn't an issue. But
He just got comfortable for a minute.
he got comfortable with it, and I didn't like it.
And that's the thing, the comfortability, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't get comfortable. And I can say right now, I keep saying, people like, oh, you don't want to be assistant principal, you don't want to go to another job. I just figure at this stage of the game, no, I just don't want to deal with meeting going to a new building, meeting new staff members. So in a way, I got comfortable with that, but I try to do other things that I'm uncomfortable with that could also, I can grow as far as that. So yeah, I have no desire to be going from school to school and get bored with, because no matter what, kids are kids,
Yeah.
and staff are staff, administrators are administrators. So I'm fine where I'm at. So I'll just ride it
And
out till they say we don't want you no more.
even that I could understand, because probably the job that I liked the best, I would have been more than happy to coast out the rest of my career to retirement in that position. Wouldn't have cared about moving up or anything like that. I was comfortable. I liked where I was, and I just really, it was my desire just to coast on out of the workforce from that position.
Wow.
Yeah, I like to change, and I like to be my own boss. Technically, things flow like they're supposed to. I could be my own boss. I am my own boss in my business, my real estate business, but I do still keep a part-time job. And that's just because sometimes, real estate sometimes goes up and has its downs. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I'm like, well, I always have this steady income coming in. But I really prefer to be just doing my own thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to be under somebody else's rule. And I like to be able to make changes because I like to meet people. I'm a people person. I've never been just like in an office type person. I like to be out and about, networking and things like that. And because you learn so much.
That was kind of the thing about this position. I had so much freedom.
Okay, that's the difference. If you have some freedom in the position, that's what it is.
I had so much freedom.
Yeah,
I love the position. I like the people that I worked with, and I pretty much could do what I wanted to do. So as long as I got the work done.
And that's what I like about my job. Like the part-time out, it's flexible. Yeah, I mean, it's not like so it's not as bad as if it was just in an office all the time.
Yeah, see, I had a job. My last job that I worked, I was a mental health counselor, case manager. So I was always out in the field for the most part. So that's the one reason why I thought I was going to be there. I kept telling people I was only going to be there a year. I said, I can't stand these people, and I'm only going to be here a year. But the freedom and the flexibility of the job allowed me to go out, because when I go visit clients and things, I would go look at houses. So it allowed me to go and look at houses and do the things I need to do to build up my real estate. And so I was buying houses and working the job. And I ended up being in that job for 10 years.
Whoa.
Before I end up leaving, finally left it, and went out and did my business. And that was over 20 years ago. That was the last time I actually worked a real job, was over 20 years ago.
Oh, good thing.
All right. So we gonna move to this last segment.
Last segment here.
Last segment. Infidelity in marriage. For women, it's celebrated, and for men, it isn't. Why is this? And do you disagree?
What do you mean celebrated?
I don't know, man.
I think that concept has come about since the whole Jada Pinkett thing.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The concept that is celebrated has come about since the Jada Pinkett thing, because there a lot of women in particular jumped to her defense, oh, good for her, and da 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 da. So I know exactly
what do they call it, or something? What they call it?
An entanglement.
Entanglement. I knew some triangle or some nonsense. Entanglement.
So technically, Herb, it wasn't really cheating. It was just an entanglement.
Whatever.
But see, the
man has said that. Honey, that wasn't cheating. I was just entangled in her. It would have been a whole different
don't
story.
try that.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm gonna entangle you, all right.
Right.
And so I did hear about all that stuff with her and some rapper or something, and Will, and that whole entanglement thing. Yeah. And I'm like, see, we justify things, even though we know they're wrong. We try to justify them with these, this is the norm now, and try to make it a norm. But
I really don't even understand how they tried to clean that up.
No, but
I mean,
if you got enough people saying it,
Jada and Will, if they could handle it and get past it and everything, fine, wonderful. Mm-hmm. But I didn't feel the necessity to come to her defense. As a matter of fact, I thought her behavior was predatory. I found it disgusting.
Yeah, and they try to make it a trend now, and so now it becomes this trend. And so
you were scoping on your son's friend. You were scoping him out. You showed predatory behavior. You were a predator to that young man. And
no, this was her son's friend. I didn't even know who the guy was. It was her son's friend.
That's how. Yes.
Oh, see, I didn't no clue. I just heard about the story. I didn't know how they met or who he was. I just heard, Then I started hearing that term, entanglement. But when you look at those kind of things, you look at just another way of destroying the family. You come up with all these things, these habits, these trends, and then it becomes a habit for people to start doing. And all it does is take away from the family bond. You have everybody doing all these different things, and it's crazy to think that was okay. And if you're married, you're married. And see, for me, that really rubs me, because that's what happened in my relationship. My wife, did what she did, and it was like the biggest nightmare for me. That whole situation.
And not that I am saying that cheating is okay. I'm not trying to say that at all. But the fact that it wasn't just that she was cheating. You went after a man that was really practically a child.
Right.
If you was going to cheat, you'd cheat with somebody old enough to handle it.
Yeah.
But that becomes that trend, because what do they call them? They call them cougars. You know what I mean? So now you justify it, not that you are a predator. Now you're a cougar. So now it makes it cool.
Yeah, women are cougars and men are predators or
right,
pedophiles.
Exactly.
That's
so now it's cool to be a cougar. It's cool to be. They give it these names and these titles to try to whitewash it, and it just makes it. It makes it more convenient for people to do things that they really know they shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I've always said, I think my youngest for my age is 37 now. Because I have boys, and I wouldn't want any.
Can you imagine?
Grown woman, taking my son's, not their, even their virginity or whatever, and what if she can't have kids? Like, they might want to have children. I don't. That's what my thought is. If I met a young man that was, I just couldn't do it. To be honest with you, I would always think that I'm taking away his.
My thought is, let me try to bring some 35-year-old home.
Right. I'm just,
and I got a
comfortable bringing that home to my son. My son, like I
exactly.
I would respect them, highly. I wouldn't dare want to bring somebody their age home and say, "Hey, this is my new guy."
And it's not just respecting your sons or your children, but it's them respecting you.
Right.
There's nothing in this world that makes me want to change that.
Now, see, now I got an issue. I got an issue with this because this just happened to me. So I got an issue with this. So now,
Willie's moment.
Did I miss the story tonight? Oh,
you did.
Wait a minute. So now, for example, I met this woman, and she's actually a year younger than my daughter. She's 39. My daughter's 40.
Uh-huh.
And so it would be wrong for me to date this woman because she's younger than my daughter.
You're old enough to be her father.
Look, I don't
want to. Wait a minute. She's 39. She ain't 12.
You're old enough to be her father.
and I'm see. That's why I wanted to ask that question, because when I told her how old my daughter was, it tripped her out because she's like, "Wait a minute, you're like dating your daughter." I'm like dating my daughter. Some kind of way she referenced that, and I just laughed. I said,
well, you're of age, so you're not like you said, 12 or 15 or
right.
You're
That's 39. What I said. So when I heard Christine say 35,
listen, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever, however you want to look at it, it's just that thing once again that things are perceived differently.
But when you're talking about somebody almost 40 years old,
so like I don't know how your daughter would take it. Do you?
I don't know how she would take it, but I'm just saying. But it just, what I mean? I could see if I was like,
because I think that my kids would take it. I don't think they really trip off of it if it were their father. Mm-hmm. But if it were me, oh baby,
oh no,
oh no,
like 20 years younger than you would.
Oh no,
really?
Oh no, they would not be having it at all.
Mm-mm. Mine wouldn't either.
Even if the person's like 30, 40 years old, 30 years old.
Like I said, my oldest is 38, getting ready to be 39 next month. When I tell you, if I brought home a 35, 37, 38, 39-year-old, my 6 kids, they would be having a fit.
Really?
Yes. They would probably be plotting on dude. He's going to disappear.
They're going to make it very hard for him. Yeah, mine is definitely. They definitely will say something to me.
I'm looking at that because so that I just
and I'm okay with them saying that because I would feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I guess I've already said I don't even want young goldfish. So
I guess the question is,
you were say for example, you were 70 years old and you met a man 50 years old, same age as your kid. they still would have a problem with you dating that
Oh
person.
my God, they would stick me in a home somewhere, never to see the light of day again.
Really?
No. I'm sure they would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't. That just. I could see 40 if a 40-year-old trying to date a 20-year-old or some nonsense like that. But when you're talking 50 and 30 or 55 and 35 and all those numbers, that and it just
let me tell you something. I was like maybe 43 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I started talking to a guy who was 7 years younger than me. And my dryer had went out. And so he was going to pick me up in my laundry. I had already washed it. He's going to pick me up and take me to the local laundromat to go dry my clothes. And my son met him. And my son went the next day and bought me a dryer. He said, "Oh, hell no. Hell no."
Really?
Yes, he had a fit. He was not happy.
Okay, so what's the biggest gap? What's your range? What's your range?
That was the Lord, because I actually did go ahead and date.
No, I'm saying, what is your range now? What
7.
When you say
5,
your range?
5 years. 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's enough. I don't. For one thing, I definitely don't want to date somebody young enough that they've got young kids, because I've done my time.
Well, I don't want no young kids. Yeah, I know that feeling. Now I said like 45.
I ain't going down. I'm not going out of 50s. That's a no.
Really?
Oh my God, no.
I don't want nobody 50.
I'm 44.
Oh no, Willie.
But I mean, you're in your 40s. Yeah, I'm in my 50s. I don't want anybody under 50.
Who in their 40s?
Still a young chickadee.
Who in their 40s? I thought she was talking to me. You talking to me, Christine?
I'm 44.
I'm talking to Chris. I ain't talking to you. I'm talking to Christine. Christine, how old do you think I am?
You 59. You already said it.
Oh.
Right. You already know how old you are.
Don't be telling people how old I am, Christine. I'm trying.
You said it on this show.
You're trying to catch.
Nah, I got somebody for him. I have somebody for him, guys.
Oh, whatever happened to you?
Oh no.
Okay.
What? To who?
Somebody was supposed to set you up on a.
Oh, she got blasted about that. How dare you? How dare you try to set him up on a date with women? So we had to cancel.
Dang.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they went off on inboxing her and cussing her out.
Dang!
So I need to come back home for that.
He's a misogynist. He's a woman hater. He's a
that.
Yeah. All that nonsense.
So people who just joined us, it's a lot goes down in the counselor's corner. It's a lot.
I was not able to get my date, and I was actually looking forward to it. Then Lakia called me, tried to set me up with some lady. I don't know, but we ain't going there.
And she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, so is my grandmother. So is my grandmother. But that's
oh, here we go. He gonna bring Granny in again. He gonna bring Granny in again.
That's why he's still single, because like all these stipulations, all this junk that don't make sense. Stop with the stipulations.
See, Nicole said 39 is not young. Thank you, Nicole. I said 39 is not young too.
I don't think it's young either. I tell my son all the time, boy, you getting old. Yeah. That don't mean
I think 30. Well, this person was 39 that I met. But normally, like I said, I normally do 45 and up. But this person, we hit it off. We had good conversation, and then when I told her, she asked me how old I was, and I told her, then she just kind of fell out because she thought I was in my 40s. So,
and then you tell a joke and it references a time, an era, and they don't get it. No,
I don't tell those kind of jokes.
I like the fact that I can talk to somebody
that get
my jokes in my era and the music I like and the movies, because I reference them a lot. different ways in conversation.
Be like, it's time to make the donuts, and they be like, "Oh, we got donuts." Get away!
No. Right.
Well, as we can see, it's
only 45 and up is my range, but I try not to do in the 50s. 40. That's what only gives me like. So that
they
gives
need
like
to know who Ultraman is. They need to know who Johnny.
They need to know
all
what
these stipulations.
I need to know who Ultraman was.
Johnny
Johnny Sacco. What was with the Mach 5?
the Mach 5.
They need to know all. Yes. They don't know all that stuff. They too young.
I don't want them to know all that. No, you don't need to know all that. No, no. You know, they had a Barbie. I'm good. That don't even matter. It don't even have to be a black Barbie. I don't care. Shit.
Oh my God.
Well, guys, I would love to stay on with y'all, but I'm getting tired and I still got house.
We're about to go. We're all about to go in a minute.
I
think Dave done left us already.
Right.
He did that last time. Something happened with his internet. It's shutting down, resetting at this time about now.
It's hinting to him.
Cuffing season is almost here, y'all. I gotta get busy, man. I'm telling you. I may have to move up to my
I got somebody nice and cozy for you.
I may have to move up to my I ain't moving that way. I ain't moving that
nice and cozy for you.
Chris, she trying to introduce me to this woman.
You know she cute.
Okay.
She cute.
She
What's
what?
wrong with that?
Cute.
She what?
Oh, you wrong for that.
She's a nice lady. I mean,
and she's adorable.
To who?
No.
Stop it. Stop it.
I mess with you no more.
She's a nice lady. Nice, conversation,
That's what I'm talking about. All these stipulations.
What? You should be happy, not happy, but you should be able to enjoy a person that you're with. And that means
you have to have conversation and allow it to grow, and maybe then something you might be like, you know what? She is beautiful. She's a beautiful soul. And
so I'm not. The soul is not the first thing a man sees.
Ask for a full body picture.
And I saw the full body. That's why I'm not messing with
it. See.
I'm sorry.
I ain't saying that.
I'm sorry.
We ain't saying
that. I didn't mean for it to come out that way. But
we aren't saying any names.
Now, Lakia, you already know though. Full body picture. That I told you, headshots can be deceiving.
Oh, here we go. It ain't even time to go yet. That's supposed to be your closing statement.
But that's
okay. I'm not gonna say
in this. Hey, Christine, in this scenario that she's describing, it fits. Headshot is great.
See, but this is what I said. I said, but maybe with conversation, say, hey, let's go for a walk. Y'all start exercising together, and and she comes start losing.
You see what I'm saying, Christine? Okay. Headshot.
You
now I got to take her.
He needs a picture of the back of her knees.
No, you see I seen her. I seen her, so I don't even see the back of her knees. I know they back there. You got the coochies back there. I seen them.
You like, I already know what I'm working with. No, thank you.
I already know what I'm working with that one.
Who is that? That's Lakia's hookup?
Yeah, she tried to hook me up.
Yeah, you dead wrong. You dead wrong.
No, I'm not. Because you know what? You're shallow.
She's a perfect example of a headshot.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Perfect example of a headshot. Talk about I could take her, start getting her motivated to walk.
Yeah.
No,
come on,
you
don't do that.
Pull her behind my car. That's
KYP, know your personnel. You know how Willie flow. So you know how bring anything lesser than that, it's just dead wrong. Whatever. You get cut off for that type of stuff.
Yes, Lakia.
You know why? I'm not even going in. You know I like to go in on y'all sometimes. Y'all know I like to go in sometimes. But I'm not going to go in today.
Go in. Please do. Go in. Go in.
You're wrong. You know you're wrong on this one.
You know what? You know what?
You're definitely wrong on this one.
If you ain't bringing him the best,
right.
You acting like he don't got options.
I know I like
If
to
a
call
man
y'all
got
out.
options, it's power.
She tried to bring me a fixer-upper.
You can use a fixer-upper because guess
not
what?
that he
You know
called
what I'm
her
going to say. You need some fixing yourself. You need some fixing. So if you need some fixing, you can take a fixer-upper.
Gotta bring me
And
a
she makes a good
fixer-upper.
point. You know,
What?
she makes a good point. She makes a good point.
What was the point?
If
I
you
missed
need
it.
some fixing yourself,
I do.
okay. So that means why don't you?
You got room for a fixer-upper.
You have room for a fixer-upper.
That's a
Be
whole.
fixing together.
It is not. It is not.
She's
That's
a whole
one
remodel. She's a whole remodel.
No,
She ain't no
that's
fixer
one
upper.
thing. But so far, that's one thing. What about other things? Everything else might line up great. And then, okay, this is something that you don't like. You talk to her about it. See if she's not that you don't like, but like you would like to see a little different. And then see how she responds, and then make it work. That could be the only thing standing in your way.
Okay, let me ask you this: Is he physically attracted? The first attraction is the physical.
You know what?
Exactly what I told her. That's what I told her. And look here, what I got to do? What I got to do? I got to take her for a walk, right? Get her walking first. That's what she said.
Walk. You sound like it's a pet.
Right.
She said, talk her into walk.
Maybe she would like to go for a walk, and excuse me, y'all can start walking together, working out together, and that can tackle that issue.
So that tells you, Dave. That tells you, Dave.
I already know. That reminds me of that picture. That reminds me of that picture I had posted with the gray sweats the other day.
Listen, because Will, you are my brother friend.
What picture you posted with the gray sweats? What was it? A woman?
It was a woman and a man. It was a woman and a man.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about. She was a little thick.
Yeah. Well, just imagine that in short.
Flow bottle TV, huh?
He's short. You ain't that tall.
I ain't short.
How tall are you?
I'm 6 feet.
You ain't that tall.
I am 6 feet.
But you're not that tall.
So she's not that tall either.
That's why I'd be perfect.
How tall is she? How tall is she?
So look here.
5'8".
No, she's not.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she's got some height for a
she's
woman.
like 5'2", 5'4".
No, she's not.
5'4".
No.
So you want to hook him up with somebody that he's not even attracted to at first sight.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to grow like, okay,
I'm supposed to work
together
and remodel her.
Yeah.
Remodel her.
Come on, man.
So the men on this panel, would you at least entertain a woman that you weren't immediately attracted to? Would you entertain her? Would you
do what?
You know what?
A woman that you're not
initially
attracted to.
You don't have to answer for us. We can all answer for ourselves.
They will hit anything that come their way.
No,
so don't act like they got everything got to be looking all cute. Because they know they hit some uglies. Okay. And I ain't gonna say ugly, but some people that needed some renovation, some remodeling.
I married one and I dated one.
The problem with that is every man has his own version of what he finds attractive. And for women to try and slate a man's attractiveness based on what they deem attractive is where women err. And women don't want to listen to
other women being attractive and guys looking at y'all like y'all crazy. But
right.
And so for my ex-wife, when I first met her, like I said, I looked at her. She was very thin and tall, which was totally opposite of anybody I've ever dated. Tall. She is tall. Summer's like 5'8", 5'7", 5'8".
That's because her hair is that big.
No,
she's not that tall.
5'7", 5'8".
5'7".
5'7", and size 1, size 2. Whatever size she wore, 1 or 2, very little. And so she was totally different. I normally dated people that were 5'2", 5'4", normally 5'2", and small, thick, whatever, but not like that. And so she was totally opposite of anybody I ever dated. And then the girl who I got the restraint when I got the restraining order put against me, she was totally different. She was totally different from anybody ever dated. When I met her, I didn't even like her. I
But she
didn't
was
pay her any
crazy.
attention.
So how did you get so involved if you didn't even like her? So you like the way she looked?
No. She was a nice looking she was light skinned, nice like looking lady. I never did like real light skinned women before. But the thing was, I wasn't attracted to her. I didn't pay her any attention, like I said. But what happened was I was waiting on my friend who was talking to her girlfriend. And I was sitting there waiting on him. She was sitting next to me. And we started talking, and then she was in real estate, and I was in real estate. So we started talking about real estate, and that's how we ended up creating a conversation. And from there, we just,
then the Lakia's friend you all might have something in common.
No, we don't. We talked already.
They do. A love of food.
No.
There you go.
We have what?
The love of food.
You like to eat too.
No,
the love of food.
No. She love it more than I do.
Bond over a plate.
She love it more than I do, because no.
Shallow.
She was a nice lady. Like I said, she's a nice lady. I talked to her, and I mean, it wasn't a lot of conversation because I knew I wasn't going any further than just. But,
listen.
So David, are you and Herb also saying the same thing that you? Well, no, actually, Willie did say that. Willie said he will date. He has and will date somebody that he's not exactly attracted to. What about you two?
Ain't happening.
I mean, it has to be something that they bring into the table with some dynamics. But also, if you have options, you don't settle. Understand this, that some people don't have options. They may front like they have options, but ain't nobody knocking down their damn door. So if that's the case, then you take what you can get. I haven't hit that point yet. I haven't hit that point yet that I have to live like that. So I'm good. I'm good. I haven't hit that point yet, and I don't never plan on hitting that point. To be honest.
Okay. Herb's just no.
Herb
said no. He shook his head. No.
Herb said no. It's complete sentence.
Why would I?
Definitive no, huh, Herb?
Why would I?
I'm about to start hanging out at the Hispanic restaurants or somewhere where I can meet new cultures.
Allow somebody to eat off my plate.
I'm start hanging out in some new environments. I got to get out more often and meet people. Right, Lakia?
You do.
Lakia's going to tell me about events so I can get out and go to them and meet people. That's where I met the 39-year-old too, Lakia.
Okay.
Same event.
Oh, her?
No. You don't know this person.
It seems like you got some unfinished business with this 39-year-old, Willie. Follow up.
She's a cutie.
Well,
too.
39 is not young. That's true. 39 is not young. It's not her fault that you had a child that's 40.
See, Christine.
I mean, I get it. Okay, I get it. 39 is not young. It's not like you're robbing the cradle. It's not
exactly.
That is not an age where I'm looking at you like, oh my God, you're disgusting.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying,
she sat and talked to me for a while until she finally asked me how old I was.
Wait a minute. So it wasn't the second one you said that you met?
No, I didn't mention this one.
You wrong. You supposed to give me the tea. You supposed to spill the tea.
Because that would have created some drama. She was very, very light skinned.
And she was there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that could have been anybody. All right.
Yeah, she was very light skinned. So light she was.
Yeah, I got a lot of secrets.
No, he's holding back. I'm gonna get it from you.
So I wasn't saying that 39 was too young for you. I was saying that my family dynamic, that stuff will never go over.
For you,
she doesn't want to be viewed as a cougar.
Right.
Right. I understood what you were saying. And that's why I asked the question to you guys when you were saying it, because I was thinking, I said, you know, her response when I told, because she thought, like I said, she thought I was in my 40s. So when she found out, when I told her how old I was, she was like, oh, wow. And you have a 40-year-old daughter? She said, I'm like, you're like dating your daughter or something, you know, something to that reference. And I said, we have good conversation. We've been sitting here talking for a while. It was funny because I didn't go say what she said. But I was gonna say something she said to me before she found out how old I was. But anyway.
We all
hold back down. Don't hold back down.
You don't throw this stuff out there and then say, but I ain't gonna tell.
No. Well, because it was funny because I was gonna say the whole conversation was so funny because we were just talking, and she said, I want to have your baby. And I was like,
no, that's like,
damn.
Excuse me? Exactly.
I came back online for that one.
I'm like, excuse me? You want to do
what?
Yeah. You could have said we ain't having no baby, but we can go through the act.
And that's what I told her. Yeah. I said, well, we can practice. I told her, I said, we can practice.
Oh, abort.
Shit, we can practice. For sure, for sure.
Red flag.
That should have been like when what's that? And she turned around.
right. You go.
I told her we could definitely practice. I said,
you shouldn't have said nothing. And when you was getting ready, you could have said, by the way, when you was on the downstroke, I have a daughter your age.
Oh man.
I don't know.
Abort. Yeah. Run for your life.
That's funny. No, she was, like I said, it was we talked. It was fun. I think because she was drinking, she was saying all that, but it was interesting conversation. But like I said, once I told her how old I was, she
But I can hear the energy in your voice compared to whatever Lakia was trying to say.
Exactly. From us.
Trash that shit Lakia put out there, whatever. Trash shit.
Way in the trash.
You're wrong for that.
Oh, I couldn't do that to me or her. No. No.
All right, Lord Jesus. Yeah, we get toward that tie. And Buffalo about to take this L.
Are you serious?
Yeah, King Henry just scored. So it's 33-31.
Who's winning?
Tennessee.
Too much time left.
Oh, really?
With 3:05 left. 3 minutes and 5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Left.
So I'm not even watching the game.
Oh, that's where you and Herb keep disappearing too.
Oh, he watching the game.
You know, I'm getting old. I had to use the John after a while. You can't sit here all this whole time. And, I don't got no casserole. I had to use the bathroom.
I'm hoping you too young for that.
Yeah. Herb was checking on that pineapple pizza he had.
I know.
I was like, who was that munching?
Pineapple pizza.
I knew I heard a bag. I knew I heard a bag rumbling.
Y'all funny, man. Y'all funny.
Herbie throwing down.
Definitely be enjoying it. All right, we gonna get some closing comments, and y'all know I'm gonna come at y'all like Wednesday, Thursday for the next talking points. So
I got anybody
want to start it off with their closing comments for the tonight?
I'm gonna go into an oldie but goodie.
Uh-oh.
do unto others. Do unto you.
Don't do
Amen.
it.
Amen.
That's an oldie, but
That's an
goodie.
oldie.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
funny.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. And in
That's the same
closing,
thing. That's the same thing I just said.
well, I'm adding to mine. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And in closing, remember, headshots be deceiving. Remember that.
Okay, so since we on this vein, I'm gonna say treat a person how they want to be treated and teach them how you want to be treated.
Oh, we got to do a whole show on that one.
I like that. That's what I'm talking about. You and me, we right here.
Right. Right.
What's them lips? Look at David lips.
We got to do a show on that one. We got to do a show on that one.
I don't get it. But
write that one down, Dave. We got to do a show on that one.
That's my closing
They
statement.
sound like a group of Father MC fans.
Father MC.
Oh, no.
Treat them like they want to be treated.
What he can say.
We didn't listen to that.
Okay. Right.
That went over there.
Next. That's my closing statement. Next.
Who's up? Dave?
Oh, don't worry. As a matter of fact, that can be one of the talking points because we can roll that into another talking point.
Oh crap.
Feel like they want to be treated. They don't know how they want to be treated.
I know
That's why we need to be a discussion next week.
And teach them how to treat you.
Yes.
I like it.
Put it down. Put it down.
I just said it. I just shared. That's what I was trying to say in a nutshell with Willie. Right? Teach her how you want things to be for you to make it work.
He wants her to be a different person, so
you can't handle being treated.
That's what I'm saying. Lakia, put it down in your notes. I didn't write it down for myself.
It's hard to teach you no Bow Wow new tricks.
Y'all can't handle being treated right.
Woo!
No.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
Yes, he most certainly did.
Oh, it's a lot.
No.
Oh, we can go there. Make sure somebody put that down. We can go there. That could be the title.
Woo!
Wait a minute. You said I'm too young. Dude, go tell it. Sir Anthony gonna say I'm too young to know Father MC. I just didn't know that song. Back to
it. And I'm definitely old enough. I didn't know that song.
I didn't know it either. Who's up? Cause I gotta go to bed.
Herb, did you ever finish up your point?
I'm gonna keep it real simple. Man, there's a lot of things going on in the world, man. So before you try and clean up somebody else's front door, make sure yours is clean. And as always, don't understand the curves and the grade. Godspeed. See you next time.
Yes.
And for me, as always, you may be looking for certain conversations here, but like I always say, it runs the gamut. One concept can build off another. As you can see, we try to have fun with this. We have laughter. Nobody's angry. Nobody's cussing each other out. We may not agree, but we have fun with it. And that's what it's all about. So when people say, oh, why y'all talking about this? Why y'all posting about this? Because all this shit needs to be talked about, no matter what. No matter what. We can no longer, and I probably say this often, we can no longer sweep this stuff under the rug. So we need to keep talking, keep sharing our experiences. I love the experiences that were shared tonight in the thread about the different things, because that's where you learn and grow from.
Exactly.
Seeing other people's experiences. And I know for me, I always love when teachers share their experiences and you had a personal connection to it. some people don't like that style. I don't hear about that. Well, I know the younger generation, they don't care about that, but I know that kind of made me connect with people. So I appreciate everybody in the chat. And let's just keep having these conversations. And I see right now we got some hot shit on the platter for
Right.
coming up. So make sure when I reach out to y'all for the talking points, even if you're in the chat and you say, "Well, I got something," message one of us, and then we'll put it on and we'll talk about it,
Yes.
and we'll keep moving forward. I appreciate you all. Everybody enjoy the rest of their week. Again, stay safe. It's starting to get cold out here, and people,
Cuffing
having different
season.
effects. Yeah, definitely
Cuffing
cuffing
season.
season. Definitely cuffing
And
season.
I want to think we should go out on the song that Herb had the wrong beat to, and that's why I couldn't remember it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the way the beat he had was off. It's
Beat. It's called acapella.
yeah, that was the wrong beat, Herb.
I didn't have a beat.
That's the beat.
That sounded a lot different from Herb, but we never said Herb was a entertainer. So
That was the beat, Herb. You can remember that beat you had. That wasn't the beat.
He's entertaining, but he's not an entertainer. That's it.
So Lakia wanted to get that off. Good night, everybody. Everybody, again, be safe. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, everybody who participated in the thread.
Yes.
And everybody be safe for the rest of the weekend. We'll
Have
see
a
y'all
good
again
week,
next
everybody.
Monday. Peace.
Good night.
Peace out.
Good night.
Later.